Hi, everybody. It's Marjorie Waldo with Culture Under Fire, making a case for the arts. Today, we've got a really exciting episode titled Inside the Volunteer Community at Arts Garage. Culture is a team sport, and these volunteers are on the front line. Arts Garage volunteers do more than staff an event. They help keep the arts alive by making culture tangible, local, and human. In this episode, we're going to talk with two of our volunteers at Arts Garage who keep the venue running and the community connected. Why do they give their time? Lots and lots of time. What do they see behind the scenes that most patrons never notice? And right now, what makes someone decide the arts are worth showing up for? So it is my pleasure to introduce Lourdes Alfonso and Maria Mercaldo. Thank you so much for joining me.
Oh, a pleasure, Marjorie.
I'm glad you're here, both of you. All right, I'm going to brag about you for a second. Maria has been attending shows at Arts Garage since 2016, which was the year I started. 9 years plus.
I couldn't believe that when you told me you
Isn't
were
that
here
something?
since 16 years.
And you moved to Delray Beach that same year. Mm-hmm. So I'm lucky that you found us right away. That's good. Before becoming a volunteer, you lived in Queens.
I did, yeah.
And you worked as an administrator and a bookkeeper. And I know you also volunteer at the Caring Kitchen and with the police department.
I did at that time, yes.
Now
Yes.
it's just Arts Garage?
Arts Garage, and I volunteer for a philanthropic group at church.
Oh, that's awesome.
And yeah.
Okay. All right. And then Lourdes, you've been attending shows at Arts Garage since 2020, ironically, the same year as the pandemic. Did you start attending shows before the pandemic?
I actually came to Arts Garage way before you were at Arts Garage as a guest. I was invited by a bass player.
Okay.
And so I came from Miami a few times to visit Arts Garage. I loved it. And 4 years ago, I decided to retire. And I looked at different areas.
Okay.
where
And that's
to
when you
go.
moved.
And that's when I moved. And Arts Garage was the deciding factor.
2021, so it'll be 5 years this year.
Yes.
You attended FIU in Miami and studied at Thunderbird School of Global Management. Where is that?
It's in Arizona. It's an international program.
Okay. And you were in the financial industry. Your last position before you retired, you were a client service officer for a brokerage house, right?
Correct.
You also volunteer other places, including Eat Better, Live Better. One of our state representatives now started this charity a long time ago to
Deborah Tendrich.
feed
Yes.
hungry people. Yes, Representative Deborah Tendrich. And you were a featured award recipient of the 2024 Volunteer of the Year Award. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's pretty cool. All right, ladies. So let's just start talking now. So talk to me about Arts Garage. Why do you want, or why did you want, and why have you stuck around all this time to volunteer for us?
I think it starts by accident. You know, you come to a show and you say, wow, this is a great place. And then you start volunteering. And as far as the music goes, you know what you know, right? And you like what you like. And then all of a sudden you're exposed to all this music that you never heard before. It's just mind-boggling. And the caliber of talent that comes through the doors that want to play in a live venue and play live music, it's amazing. So I think that's why. 10
It hooked
years,
you.
it doesn't seem like a long time, but it's been an amazing experience. And I've never been disappointed, by the musicians, by the sound, by the people that come in, and by the community. Yeah, you really get a feel for the community because you see the people that come in.
Yeah, you see everybody from our place. Although now I want to say about 60% of our attendees are not from Delray. They're from other places. And I'm going to guess that about 20% are from tourists, from either snowbirds, let me correct that, snowbirds who might live for 6 months out of the year in Boston or wherever. And then the rest of the time they're here. Some of them determined to come to Delray for the season based on our calendar. So interesting.
Correct.
I could believe it, right.
Yeah. What about you? Why Arts Garage?
So, well, for me, Arts Garage is a very special place. And I like the mission that is connecting the community to the world via the arts. A lot of people don't have the opportunity to travel. they're locals or they just don't travel. And here at Arts Garage, they get exposed to music from all over the world. It's good for kids, it's good for adults, it's good for all income levels, and the program is very complete. So for me, supporting Arts Garage is actually reaching out to the community.
It makes me feel really good when you notice the things that you know. I'll tell you two quick things. One, when I started, I'd programmed a lot of things, but I was in education. And so I'd never run an arts venue before. I'd been a leader for more than 20 years, but I had not led an arts organization before. I was always in the educational sphere. And while I had a love of a lot of different types of music, there were several genres that we are very well known for that I had minimal exposure to. And I, to this day, book all of the talent. So it was really interesting to learn in that first couple of years about these different genres that I had not been exposed to. I think that's really important. You know, we have Tom Porter, who has the tribute band organization that does a lot of our rock and roll tributes, and stellar shows. I've heard him say from the stage in his opening that it doesn't matter what genre you're not used to, that when you walk in the door, you're going to get an incredible experience, even if you're not a jazz aficionado or you don't know anything about the blues or whatever, that you're going to be blown away regardless. And that's the highest compliment, I think.
So there was one show in particular, you think of highlights in 10 years.
Yeah.
So Paco de Rivera.
Oh my gosh. And Chucho Valdez came.
So Chucho Valdez came, and we're volunteers. So somebody came up and told us there's going to be a special guest and he's going to need assistance to come in. So when he comes in, didn't tell us who he was. I didn't know who he was anyway. But this man walked in, and just simultaneously, everybody stood up and started singing. The audience. Were you there,
Yes, I was there.
That night? It brought tears to your eyes because it was just, culturally, he was a hero. He was...
that was an iconic moment for us.
It was such a moment, it could have only happened at the Arts Garage.
Yeah.
Small venue, and people just stood up and started to sing, evidently a song that he was famous for, because they recognized him. It was amazing. And that's something that culturally, this man is a hero. It's just, So not only the music, but the people in the audience.
Well, and what you said is tied to that directly, because I believe, and I brought that to Arts Garage, and our board is aligned with this idea that when you watch anyone on the stage perform, whether it's a comedian or a theater piece or a singer or a drummer, they're bringing every bit of their culture, every bit of their life experiences. They bring it all on the stage with them. And that's why I think we really are connecting people to other countries, to other ethnicities, to other cultures all the time, because it's who you are that you present on the stage. These performers are amazing. And it feels like you traveled around. That one I cried during that show.
It was amazing.
Yes.
It really was amazing.
I've never paid to go see a Latin jazz performance. I was familiar with Paquito's work. I was blown away by the fact that we were able to contract with him to perform for us. I know of Chucho Valdez and had seen his performances also on the computer, on YouTube, right? But watching those two men play, and Paquito was mentored by Chucho.
Right.
And Chucho needed help to walk in.
Yes,
but when
his
he sat at the
grandson was with
piano,
him.
he was 20 years old all over again.
Yes.
It was amazing.
And the interaction between the two performers told you everything you needed to know about that relationship between those two men. Forget musicians.
Yeah,
I mean, that's magical.
You could feel
I think.
it was a magic. It was the energy between the two of them was amazing. It was an amazing night.
Yeah.
But that's why the arts are important too, Marjorie, because all those people in the audience might have had that Latin background, but I didn't. And other people listening from outside too. Music, arts, they connect everybody. They have that common commonality. It doesn't matter that you didn't know who Chucho was, but you knew there was magic on the stage when it happened.
Think about the uproar with Bad Bunny's performance at the Super Bowl, right? There was a huge uproar there because it was the first ever Super Bowl performance that was completely in Spanish. There were literally a few words that were in English. And I don't know if either of you watched it. I'm a big football fan, so I watched the Super Bowl, and I loved the halftime show. I thought it was a cultural, spectacular event, like momentous culturally, and showed Puerto Rico in a way that I've never seen it. I've never visited. And I felt like I had by the time it was over.
Right.
And I'll tell you that I went back and looked up translations of the songs, but I was dancing regardless. And I felt like I was understanding the message regardless of understanding the words.
Right.
And I think that is what the arts do. They are universal. And it doesn't matter who you're sitting next to or what your background is. What's your education level? What's your socioeconomic level? What's your race? What's your ethnicity? It doesn't really matter. You can enjoy the same thing together.
Correct.
And it teaches tolerance.
One hopes.
Yeah, you know, it's
That's the hope for sure. That's the hope.
yeah. I mean, a whole half hour of nothing but Spanish. I mean, my Spanish is so limited. I saw pieces of it, you know, played over in the news and things, but it didn't bother me. And I think because I've been exposed to so many different types of music at the Arts Garage.
Right. Personally, I'm not threatened by other people's cultures or languages or whatever. We're one of the few countries in the world that doesn't have a bilingual approach to education, so that we only are expected to learn English unless our parents push us towards a bilingual school, you know?
Right.
So I'm not threatened by that. I kind of thrive on learning about other people's stuff. And it made me do some research. It was kind of cool. I went to look.
Yeah.
And then I downloaded all of his songs on my music list. What do you
Were
think?
your children impressed? Were your children impressed that you're so up to
Yes,
date on
but
everything?
you know, it's my daughter watched afterwards. She's not a football fan, but my son and I are hooked, right? And so I'm crying while I watch because I see the uproar prior, and I think it was so meaningful and so beautiful that it happened. And seeing all the people at the Super Bowl that they showed on camera anyway, enjoying the show, and then seeing social media examples of the families who were dancing, and they showed a lot of families that did not know how to speak Spanish, and they were rocking as hard as any Spanish-speaking people might have been, you know? So I was moved by it, and so I'm, you know, ruining the show for my son because I'm telling him how amazing it was. But yes, we both loved it. We both loved it. So what about you? Tell me more. What do you think about your experiences there and the impact, like the community impact?
Well, the community impact for me, it's ongoing. When I moved to the retirement community where I live, I was always busy going to Arts Garage. So as a result of that, I think 3 of my neighbors are volunteering at Arts Garage. I find that the arts give people hope. It's a time that when you're there, you're just thinking of positive things. And by the time you leave, your worries are somewhere else. It's amazing to see when we sit in the back, to see the heads of the guests, how they're moving with the music, and they're just like following and enjoying every moment. It's to me, the arts is part of life, and it's a way to feed your soul. And volunteering is a way to help the community and also to show gratitude for what we have and explore and allow other people to experience it too.
I think that's a beautiful way to look at it. And I hope that our volunteers feel that way in general. I hope they feel appreciated for all that you give. And for the audience who's listening or watching, our volunteers, we have about 102, I believe is the right number, 102 active volunteers who serve more than 10,000 hours annually. We could not do what we do at Arts Garage without our volunteers. We couldn't have the level of customer service that we have. We couldn't make our performers and our staff feel supported. Imagine if Suzanne and Joseph and Andy and Marianne and Narcisse had to do it all themselves. I mean, just imagine. The organization could not sustain the cost of hiring enough additional people to maintain the customer service level that we do without you. And you do more than just usher or clean up and set up and support the team, the staff team. You also talk to the people in the audience before the show, and they learn about who we are and what we do, and maybe more about the performance or what you've done in the past. I think it is a human connection that has gradually lessened over the last 20 years, I'd say, with technology, right? I'm behind the screen of my phone or a computer almost all the time, at home or at work. Very rarely do I take time to even have an engagement like this where I can truly sit and just chat with you. And even now we're in front of cameras, right? But at least we can share our human interaction.
Experience, right.
And when you add the arts to it, it becomes very special. The piece of losing yourself in it, right? So it doesn't matter what happened to you 5 minutes before, 5 hours before, what's going on in the world around you. None of that matters for that 2 hours that you're in front of that
Absolutely
live
true.
performance.
Right. Yeah. it's
There's
true.
something really special about live performance too. It's one thing to see a recording of or watch it on camera, Bad Bunny, or going to see someone at a concert or whatever, but sitting in an intimate space like Arts Garage.
Exactly.
You're no more than 30 feet from any performer on the stage, wherever you are in the room. Sitting in that small space and being that close to such amazing talent, to me, is mind-blowing.
And the other thing that I find very interesting with the Arts Garage is the setup, because that setup allows people to make contact.
The cabaret-style
the
seating is what you're referring
Cabaret-style
to.
sitting.
Yeah.
Yes. I have met people that became friends at Arts Garage. I met someone that I spoke to her in Portuguese, and she happened to be from Brazil.
Isn't that something?
So she then volunteered at Arts Garage for some time.
Isn't that something?
And I've seen people outside of Arts Garage that are sitting, that, because of the style of Arts Garage, then they say, I've seen you somewhere. And then there's always a human connection, which, like you said, it's been lost over the last years.
Well, our volunteers, too, there have been love stories, divorce stories, deep, long-lived friendships that have evolved from the volunteer experience.
Right.
Isolating the volunteers from the staff, from the performance, from the performers. There's this really beautiful exchange of self,
Right.
Yeah.
that grows your connections personally, I think. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Very much.
Especially, I've been there a long time, and those original, we always say like the original 5 or 6 people.
Yes.
Yeah, we're still in contact.
Yeah.
And we're still close, and we're lucky to get a show together. It's always like, it's
That's
like old
really
home week.
cool.
Right, it's really nice.
It's really
and
cool.
even with the patrons. After a
Well,
while,
you
get
become
to
friendly
know
with them. Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
You get to know them.
I think that we have more things in common than differences. And the arts just kind of brings us together.
The research indicates that it does for sure, and you're right about the seating style. You can buy 1 or 2 tickets at a table of 8. And if you bring pretzels, because you can bring your own food to our place, you have to buy all of your beverages at Arts Garage because of our liquor license. But you can bring food to eat before the show. You better bring enough pretzels for the whole table and put a
share
bowl
with
in the
you.
center
Yes.
because it's it automatically sets the tone for the people at that table.
Right.
Who start to talk to each other and get to know each other. It's really lovely. Arts Garage is a listening room too, which is cool. There's a lot of engagement in the hour prior between the people, the patrons, the
Right,
staff, and the
yes.
volunteers. But then once the show starts, we have a bar, but we're not a bar. This is not a place where you go and chat and giggle and
Right.
have
Yes.
conversations.
Quiet,
And
yeah.
if you are a patron who does that, because maybe you had an extra glass of Chardonnay, then usually there are shushers beyond the staff and volunteers who also are patrons who remind you they're there for the music.
But that's another great thing about the Arts Garage, that it's not a bar where the music is playing in the background and people are talking, and there's no connection to the musicians. It's just like background
Right.
noise. With the Arts Garage, you can see the passion. These guys have driven, or women have driven sometimes miles to come play.
Flown from other countries.
Yes, yes.
To come and play, and they're grateful for the venue because it is intimate and the sound is great. Noah does a great job, And we get to talk to them at the end of the shows.
Yes,
So it's
they're
really,
really cool.
It's really great.
And they
yeah.
comment all the time on the staff and the volunteer group who make it feel so good for them, which is our goal. That was part of what I brought to the Arts Garage in 2016 was the sense that I've always, well, I was in education forever, but what worked for me with the kids that I served was to make them feel like they were my extended family. And the truth was that I felt like they were my extended family. That's what we tried to build at Arts Garage. If you walk in the door, you should feel part of our tribe. You're part of our circle, you know? And I think the performers definitely feel that. We're known by, I do not research shows anymore. I get hundreds of applications to perform in Arts Garage. And sometimes it's word of mouth. Sometimes it's an agent who hears a great story from the performers. It's really cool. So we are known for something really special.
And so many repeat acts that want to come.
Absolutely, who want to come back and perform again. And the audience is really eager to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. All right, let's see. We've touched on a lot. Oh, I want to talk about the personal piece. So we've talked about community. I want you to tell me, if you can, or if you're willing, tell me some specific personal impact that it's had on you. I don't know if you remember, Maria, I don't think Lourdes was still here. You started in 2020 coming, but Harry Valentine, you remember?
Yes.
So he shared with us in our brochure his story.
I didn't know if we could mention
So
it, but
it
yeah,
was
absolutely.
not something, I won't say anything specific, but he had some health concerns that made it very difficult for him to live independently. And at that time, it was before the pandemic, and the pandemic changed things for Harry. I hope he's listening. And if he is, I love you. And we miss seeing you all the time. He was always there, almost every weekend, sometimes multiple times each weekend. And he swore by the fact that engaging in the community of volunteers, in the music, the theater, the comedy, whatever, that it was what was keeping him from moving to an assisted living. Pandemic changed that for him because he was unable to do what he needed to do. But the research indicates that that is true, that the arts make people healthier, that it impacts those hormones that flood through your body when you're happy, or can make you feel good or lighter for a minute, no matter what chaos is in your personal life or the world around you. It's cool. Can you talk about anything that's happened for you? And if you don't want to, we can edit it out.
Well, when I came to Delray, I had gone through a very difficult time in Miami, where I lived, Miami Beach. I was like 3 blocks away from that building that collapsed.
Oh my gosh.
I was working from home. I had family situation. And I just felt like when I came to Delray, I felt like a butterfly. I was breathing, I was able to fly. And for me, Arts Garage was instrumental, because sometimes when you're in a situation where you don't feel great, maybe you don't want to get out of the house. But when you have a place to go, that you have community, that you have arts, that people treat you nice, that you feel comfortable, it's just easy to go and spend time there. So for me, it was
so glad.
definitely a big plus to go to Arts Garage as soon as I moved to Delray.
There are so many things that make us afraid in this world, right? And to be 3 blocks away, you said? 3
Yes.
streets away from the building. I know someone whose parent was in that building when it collapsed. It was a significant trauma.
Yes.
And I'm glad to know that we were part of your recovery from those feelings.
Yes, it was, definitely.
And I moved
Very
here
much.
alone. So I had to really start over at, 62 years old. So
That
it was
takes strength. What
it
made you
was-
do that? Why Delray?
purely accidental. Purely accidental. I came here on vacation with my mom after my husband had passed away. And a friend of mine said, market has crashed. You can buy something very cheap. I lived in New York, where I couldn't have bought a bathroom with the amount
Right.
of money I paid for my apartment.
Right?
So it was important for me to find places that I could, assimilate into a new community. and it was the Arts Garage. And it's the one thing that's been a constant the 10 years. My church and the Arts Garage.
Both of you make me want to cry because my hope is always that we're making an impact like that.
Yeah.
But I'm not always at the shows. I never get a chance to talk to you for this long. I'm doing so many other things, and it makes me feel really rewarded.
So I had a patron teach me how to Zydeco one night at the show. Yeah, because I was sitting in the chair and everyone else is dancing. And he said, "Do you Zydeco?" And I said, "Oh, I don't know. I have no idea. This is my first show." And he said, "Well, this is the time to learn." So, and I take Dick's class, jazz class, which I can't tell you for how many years my husband said, "You should listen to this music." And I said, "No, because I don't understand." And
jazz is intimidating to people who aren't familiar with it or haven't been given an introduction.
Such a whole new world. And
Yes.
I thank Dick every time I sign up for a session, that how much it changed my life. Just to have that something new, something exciting, met new people, have gone to different concerts, different shows. It's really, it's been an eye-opener for me. It's been an education. You say that we help you. I think a lot of the volunteers think that you have done more for us than we have done for you.
I think that volunteering is giving without expecting.
Yeah.
And most of the time you get a lot more than you can, you know or think.
Said, yeah, absolutely.
It's I give without expecting, but I know the feeling, and it's something that you cannot materialize. I cannot tell you this is $1 million. It doesn't have a value. You can't put a dollar sign to it.
And a lot of us live vicariously by Lourdes' travel experiences. Every time we see her, "Lourdes, where have you been?"
That's awesome. That's awesome. I like to talk to Dick and Natalie about what cruise they've been on too, because they do some cool vacations.
Every year, a cruise, yeah.
Well, we already talked about the community, which I wanted to say. So, and I think you've kind of answered my last question too, but I'm going to ask it directly and see what you think. If you were talking to somebody at the Garlic Fest this weekend, this will come out after the Garlic Fest, but if you were at an event not related to Arts Garage and somebody was looking for something, they were bored, they just retired, or they've been retired, or their spouse passed away, or they got rid of them happily, then what would you tell them about volunteering at Arts Garage? What would you say? What would your advice be?
Where do we begin? I would tell them exactly what we're talking about. You want to hear good music. You want to hear different music. You want to be exposed to different people and different music. You want to just have a good time. It's really a gem in Delray, and it always amazes me that people come in their first time and haven't realized where we are. I would just say it's a great place in Delray. Really. And 10 years, I mean, and you've been, we're not going anywhere. I mean,
you better not. We couldn't do it without you.
That says a lot. A lot of the volunteers have been there a long time. And it's not only about getting, to see the shows for free. It passes that immediately.
Well, you're working during those shows.
That thought passes. But like I said, it's just for us. It's the experience makes us better people. It makes us more well-rounded too. And we meet interesting people. Lourdes is one of the most interesting people you want to know. She's been everywhere and really, it's just an amazing experience to be at the garage, really.
Would you?
I think, I second that. I think that Arts Garage has a great location. If you want to go somewhere and for a quick happy hour or get a bite to eat and then go work for 2 or 4 hours, and you get exposed to different cultures. You get exposed to different people. You get to see a show. So it only expands your horizon. And the feel good, it's something that you take home with you. I haven't had any negative experience with any guests or anything at Arts Garage. In general, I think that people come in, they're welcome at the door. They come and they check in, and usually when I walk them to the table, I said, "Thank you, enjoy the show." And, that sets the tone because you don't know what kind of day you had. And so somebody says, "Enjoy the show," already the person relaxes. So I think that it's definitely something to consider for volunteers, especially when when we're retired and we have free time. That sometimes when we were working, we didn't have that time. It was really a luxury when you had free time. So it's helpful for the community. It's helpful for individuals and also for Arts Garage.
It just means the world to me. And you made me cry twice during this recording, and it means the world to me that you feel appreciated and valued. And I would always want to know if you didn't, and that you would say good things, that you would say you hadn't had a bad experience, and that you feel that the team treats you the way you speak it is how I would want it. And it means everything that you support the work that we do.
Oh, absolutely.
We're trying to push beyond the walls, and we're trying to be there for everybody in our community, not just a select group, you know? So it means everything. So I'm really grateful. For those of you listening, you should know that to become a volunteer, you can stop by the box office. We're at 94 Northeast 2nd Ave in Delray, at the bottom floor of the parking garage there. And you can call. I never remember the number, so I'm not going to try to say it. Or you can go online to artsgarage.org, and you can, under the support tab, I think, is where you can find the volunteer link to help you apply. And then you'll talk to Andy, who's our volunteer coordinator, and she'll make sure you feel welcomed into the fold. I am so grateful to you both, Marianne Lords. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Marjorie. Thank you.
Thank you, Marjorie.
And for everything you do.
Thank you for everything you do for Arts Garage and for the community and for us.
I'm grateful.
What a job. I mean, from the time that you came, Marjorie, look where we are.
It's a pretty cool transition to see, right? If you could do one of those time-lapse things, you'd see some pretty significant
Amazing
changes. And I'm really proud that I was able to put a group of people together that helped accomplish that. Because that's not a solo act.
Oh, no.
That's a full orchestra.
Yeah.
Very good job.
But an amazing
Thank you.
job.
Thank you both for being here
Thank you,
today.
Marjorie.
Thank you.
So if you are listening, and I hope you are, I hope you'll like the show, follow the show, write a review of the show, and subscribe. And anything else you can do on podcasts that I'm forgetting because I'm old. If you have an idea for a guest or a topic to be explored, and remember, we're just trying to show how powerful the arts are, then send us an email at info@artsgarage.org and put in the subject line, idea for the podcast, and we'll look at it. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And thank you both.